Oh, you guys are not ready for this film. I know this because I wasn't ready, and in fact, I'm still shaking from the lesbian earthquake. This is not a film you want to miss. For your information, this video will contain spoilers, so you have been warned. First of all, Montreal, My Beautiful stars lesbian film royalty and queen of my heart, Joan Chen. Not only does her acting in this film deserve an Academy Award, but so do her biceps. In fact, they may have upstaged her. Between Montreal, My Beautiful and Wild Side, it's now safe to say that milquetoast lesbian love scenes are not Joan Chen's style. It's either turn the gay voltage up to 5,000 or get it out of her face. I have nothing but respect for my queen. Second of all, the chemistry between Charlotte Aubin and Joan Chen was chemistrying. As we all know from Killing Eve, the Asian vanilla age gap swirl is a winning combination with the lesbian community and what the good Lord intended. Amen. Also, fun lesbian media connection between Killing Eve and Montreal, My Beautiful. Both lesbian couples end up in a cabin at one point, where one couple does the dishes and the other couple does the dishes. Third of all, this film explores the journey of an older Chinese lesbian immigrant, navigating an internal struggle between adhering to traditional cultural expectations and seizing the opportunity to live her truth. Something which we've never seen before in lesbian film, making Montreal, My Beautiful a unique piece of cinema. And since homosexuality is still a taboo in China and strictly prohibited, an important one too. So yes, I'm excited to talk about this film with you all today, and I'd just like to thank Film Option, the film's distributor, for blessing me with an advanced screening like a gay fairy godmother after I reached out to them because I really wanted to review this film, and for their kind words about supporting my lesbian work, which may have thawed my icy heart. Lesbian work, huh? What's your job? Lesbian. Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video we're just going to be discussing the film Montreal, My Beautiful. If you're not familiar with this film, it follows a Chinese-Canadian immigrant wife and mother living in Montreal, Quebec, who embarks on a journey of self-discovery when she meets and falls in love with Camille, a free-spirited younger woman. My favorite genre. So let's get into it. Honestly, Montreal, My Beautiful is a mesmerizing piece of work. It's visually thoughtful, well directed, technically clean, and full of incredible performances. And the authentic feel and emotional storytelling in this film makes for an absorbing and immersive experience. This is a film where you really get to bask in its ambience. It's art, darling. It's one of those. I appreciated how the mise-en-scène contained a lot of visual clues about the narrative and character arcs. There's some rather well-placed rainbow imagery, and there are layers to the storytelling element in this film through the direction, cinematography, and emotional acting. For example, there are a couple of scenes early on in the film where Feng Xia is getting a massage by another woman, and you can feel her repressed sexual desires and internal struggle with trying to keep them contained. Through the choreography, the camera angles, and Joan Chen's emotional acting. And this is just one example of many of scenes that contained layered visual storytelling that enhanced characterization and narrative. The film is also richly layered with symbolism, themes, and metaphors. Some details that I loved in particular are firstly, the meaning of Feng Xia's name in Chinese is Phoenix in Rising Sun, and the phoenix is associated with rebirth, which of course connects to Feng Xia's figurative rebirth in terms of her menopause, shedding her old skin, and becoming a new person, but also with fire. And there's a theme of heat throughout the film with Feng Xia's hot flushes from menopause, the sweating over the stove, and the consistent smoking. And this theme of heat also complements the burning desire she has for Camille. As you can see, it's quite layered. The rising sun part of her name also connects to the end of the film, with the last scene capturing the breaking dawn, which is symbolic of hope and a fresh start for Feng Xia, and a meaningful visual to end the film on. Another interesting detail is the moon imagery associated with Camille and Feng Xia's relationship. The moon is symbolic of femininity, life cycles, and emotions, which connects to the female-centric narrative and themes in the film. But the moon also connects to Feng Xia's relationship with Camille. And interestingly, when they first see the moon together, it's a half moon, which symbolizes how at that point, Feng Xia is still living a half life. and has not yet fully blossomed into herself. And at the end of the film, Feng Sha looks up at a full moon, and this is symbolic of her finally fully coming into herself, exposing her truth, and letting go of what is no longer serving her. It also connects to her romance with Camille, which is what has helped her to blossom into herself. And furthermore, in Chinese culture, the moon is symbolic of missing romantic partners and reunion, which again connects back to Feng Sha's relationship with Camille and gives the ending of the film romantic and hopeful implications. As previously mentioned, the acting in this film is phenomenal. I mean, Joan Chen conveys the entire spectrum of human emotion in it. Fear, frustration, anger, desire, jealousy, and her performances are captivating to watch. It's incredible how, as a viewer, you can feel exactly what her character is feeling. I mean, it's a visceral experience at times. To be honest, the entire cast provided airtight performances. There wasn't one weak link. But in my opinion, Joan Chen was a standout. Am I biased for lesbian reasons? Yeah, maybe. The film also embodies the female gaze and makes a lot of commentary about not only the experiences of being female, but about being an older lesbian Chinese immigrant. And the film's exploration of these intersections is a lot of what makes it so refreshing and unique. One thing the director pointed out, which I found to be food for thought, is that Feng Sha is a woman who lives on the margins in both Chinese and Western cultures. In Canada, she's marginalized as an Asian immigrant, and in China she's marginalized as a homosexual woman, so she has no sense of true acceptance wherever she goes. And even though Feng Sha has immigrated to a more liberal country, she's still trapped by traditional cultural and social expectations that have been ingrained in her, and the film does a good job of portraying how, as a result of this, Feng Sha finds herself living a double life. There's the repressed traditional one she leads, stemming from Chinese cultural expectations, and then there's the more liberated one as a result of the social freedoms that Canadian culture offers. For the most part, the film creates space for interpretation about this, and it's not necessarily looking to push a particular narrative, it's more portraying the human experience and navigation of these circumstances. Through Feng Sha, the film also portrays both the generational and cultural gaps that can occur within the gay community, and specifically how othered older women of colour can feel in younger white gay spaces. The scene where Feng Sha is sat at the table in the gay bar, surrounded by younger white lesbians, questioning her about her race, is a powerful moment in the film where we not only see how Feng Sha is physically othered in that she's the only one sitting alone, but with how we can feel her isolation in that moment, with the excruciating tension and hurt radiating from her. And the perspective of gay spaces through the lens of an older woman of colour is not something that is often explored in media, and it's interesting how the perception of these spaces changes with who is telling the story. Moving on to the lesbian science, everybody's favourite. I love the relationship between Feng Sha and Camille. The film is, and it isn't, a love story. You have a closeted married woman from a traditional background having an affair with a free-loving, younger liberal lesbian. So it's complicated and messy, and there's a lot of push and pull due to various factors. But let's be real, lesbians claiming they don't want anything serious before confessing their undying love for one another is a true classic. And a true classic never goes out of style. The reasons that I love their relationship are, firstly, their chemistry was intensely electric and alluring. Like I said, the chemistry was chemistrying, to the point where their interactions gave me butterflies and may have had me smiling at my screen like the simple gay fool that I am. Chen and Auburn had such an organic connection, and they both fully committed to their roles, which is what, despite the age gap and cultural differences, made their characters' relationship a believable one. One of my favourite scenes in the film is when they are sat on a bench in the park, getting to know each other. You can feel the electricity and emotional sparks between them, and they have what looks to me to be either spots of light or a form of insect flying around above them. And I thought this beautifully complemented the aspect of internal butterflies or inner sparks in the scene. Mwah, chef's kiss. Secondly, I love that their relationship had a healing quality to it, and how both women learned to truly love again through each other. And this not only made their relationship emotionally weighted, but it underscored the profound and relevant messaging about how love transcends cultures and borders in the film. As for the love scenes, oh boy, these are some of the most interesting love scenes that I've ever seen. Yeah, they were an emotional roller coaster. And yes, Joan Chen was in her birthday suit for some of them. Was that the most interesting part? Yes. Now, the first two love scenes are borderline uncomfortable to watch because it's clear that Feng Sha wants to be with Camille, but at the same time, it's overwhelming for her and she's fighting against internalized homophobia. So there's this visible internal struggle on display, and as a viewer, you do absorb some of that discomfort and uncertainty also. The film also portrays Feng Sha's hesitancy and fear around same-sex desire to her embrace of it, with her being fully clothed in the first two love scenes, which conveys how she's not ready to fully accept or expose her truth yet, and her being fully nude in the last two love scenes, with the lack of clothing portraying her freedom, the fiery passion, which connects to the Phoenix theme, and the unfurling of years of repressed desire. And that's why the last two love scenes are so full on. And yes, they are explicit, but they're also realistic, and their purpose is to tell a story rather than be a spectacle. I mean, in my opinion, they give the film a bit of a kick. What can I say? As for the ending of the film, it actually reminded me of the ending of A Woman Like Eve, in that the focus wasn't on a romantic happily ever after, but on a woman choosing herself. Which makes sense since Montreal, My Beautiful is not a love story. It's a story of rebirth and discovery of self. And as much as I love romantic endings, I think if Camille had been there to rescue Feng Sha, or the film had ended with their reuniting, it would have diminished the film's climax, Feng Sha's character arc, and the emphasis on her finally choosing herself. Also, even though romance-wise it's left open-ended, as mentioned earlier, the visuals of the moon and the dawn is hopeful and implies a future potential reconnection between Feng Sha and Camille. My only real criticism of this film is that I felt like some of the emotional development of the relationship between Camille and Feng Sha early on in the film felt somewhat disjointed. For example, Camille is established as someone who doesn't want anything serious relationship-wise, but at the same time, she's also portrayed as falling for Feng Sha, and it created a slight sense of whiplash or dual characterization that the film switched between to advance the plot when necessary. One minute she was pushing other women away because she was so hung up on Feng Sha, and the next minute she was making out with other women. It felt slightly confusing even within the context of the relationship being complicated. Feng Sha behaving in a contradictory way made sense because she was in an unhappy marriage and struggling with internalized homophobia. But Camille didn't have that excuse, and I feel like as an audience, we were missing some information about why her behavior wasn't aligning with her feelings, and this made it feel like the plot was leading her character rather than her character leading the plot. I mean, it's not something that took away from the film, but as a viewer, I think it would have felt more fulfilling if Camille's characterization was more thoughtful and congruent with the story, and if there had been slightly more focus on the earlier emotional developments in her relationship with Feng Sha. If that makes any sense. What is life? Overall, Montreal, My Beautiful is a mesmerizing and profound piece of cinema. A huge well done to everybody who worked on this film because, mwah, it's a good lesbian dish. And this film, along with Joan Chen's biceps, gets 5 stars from me. Okay guys, thanks for watching. An extra special thank you to my members on Ko-Fi for supporting this content, important lesbian scientific studies, and for keeping the lesbian dream alive. If you've seen Montreal, My Beautiful, let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment, and to see you guys soon. Bye.